Hello and welcome, it's Therese here for ellenhudson.com, and today we're going to be making an awesome autumn card using lots of dimension and felt, which we're going to add hot foil to. Yes, you heard me right, you can hot foil on felt. Now, Ellen Hudson has some amazing felts in the store and these colours are so beautiful. I just chose some from the Colourpop collection and some that I thought would work really well with the autumn sort of tonings. Now I've got my hot foil plate, which is from Autumn Wreath. It's a chevron one, and I thought this would make really great golden veins on the leaves of my felt. Now I have had my plate heating up on my machine for a little while. If I'm using the big cover plates on the hot foil machine, I do like to let them get nice and hot. And when you're adding the foil, I've got some matte gold hot foil here. Make sure that you add the pretty side to the pretty side of the plate. So the pretty side of the hot foil goes to the actual plate itself. Then I have added the die cut foil leaves. So this is from the leaves set. It's an Essentials by Ellen set. And I'm running it through my manual die cutting machine, and I'm doing it nice and slowly, giving the hot foil some time to adhere with the pressure of the die cut machine to the felt. Now my die cut machine is getting old and it actually doesn't put as much pressure as I would like, but with anything when it comes to hot foiling, it does pay to test what you're going to do. So I did actually cut a few extra leaves and I'm kind of happy with the result. I'm pretty happy that it worked really well, but it doesn't look as crisp on the edges of the hot foil here. So I thought I'd try a second run through my machine, and it was still okay, but I wasn't quite getting those. It was usable for sure, but I wasn't getting those nice crisp gold lines. So I thought it was time to add a shim. I have found that each company's dyes are quite different in the way that they work, so it does pay to practice. So that is why I did cut a few extra leaves today. And I was kind of thinking, I know that the Autumn Wreath dyes are quite thick compared to some of the other hot foil dyes, so normally I wouldn't add a shim. And I was also thinking felt thick, so I wouldn't need a shim, but look at the result when I did add the shim. It's so much better. I'm really happy with it, how this turned out. And before I remove my hot foil, another trick is to allow it time to cool down, and that just gives it even better contact. So I was doing that throughout as well. I did forget to mention that. So I've worked out my sandwich now, but you know what? If I did come in with a different brand of dye or a different brand of hot foil or a different brand of felt, I would still have to probably mix it up until I was happy with the result, and then write it down somewhere so I don't have to relearn it again. So I was a bit unsure which oranges to go for, but of course the bright one won, and I cut a lot of leaves here because my idea was to create a full wreath for a card. So to join the leaves, the base of the leaves, I did use some hot glue. And I don't use this stuff very often, so I am very careful because I could have a tendency to burn my fingers. So I'm working on my craft sheet here because that's going to protect my work surface. And I'm trying to add just a little bit of glue, but I do not have much control over a glue gun. I know some of you guys out there would have like 1,000 tips you could give me, but I managed to survive with only, I think, one minor burn. And I do love that this has such a strong hold, and I'm going to have some awesome dimension on this card. So this card is not for the faint-hearted when it comes to dimension. You will definitely need to either hand deliver it or send it in a gift box or a rigid mailer, something that's not going to be compressed too much in the post. Now, I love dimension on my cards, so I'm not worried. And someone who receives this is going to love it. So I did decide to create all of my leaves, even though I'm probably not going to use them. I thought, well, I can always use them on another project. And once I got started with the hot glue gun, I couldn't stop. All right, so next I thought I'd create my circles out of some gold foil. This is the brushed gold foil cardstock. You could also hot foil some golden circles onto your card front if you like, or heat emboss some circles if you've got a circle stamp. That would look amazing too. I'm using some liquid glue because I am actually adhering a layer of cardstock behind these. You don't need to do this part. I just wanted a little bit more dimension, like it needs more dimension. But you could certainly just adhere these circles direct to the card front. I love that it gets so many different sizes of circles in the Ellen Hutson Essential Circles set. And I've got some mushroom cardstock here that I'm going to use on the front of my card, and I'm splattering it with some gold paint. And I've die cut one of the center of the circles with the word thanks. Now, I wasn't really sure whether I was going to go with this card because originally I was going to add leaves all the way around. So I started building my card from the base, like added the panel. It's a 5x7 card, so it is a larger than normal card for me, and it's a side fold. And then I built my wreath. I used liquid glue and just layered up the 3 golden circles. And if any glue seeps out the side, I can just use my knife, my craft knife, to scrape that away before it dries. And I had a few ideas about the layout for this. Initially, I thought about having the leaves all the way around and using the die cut word thanks. I didn't mind that. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. So then I tried moving the leaves around in different sort of configurations. And to be honest, I really liked how the leaves looked in clusters of 3. So in the end, that one, I could certainly make a second card using my leftover leaves in the other designs that I didn't hate. Because I think when you've got your products out, it is ideal to make a few cards at once, but today I only had time to make the one. So I went with the 2 groups of 3, and I'm going to add the center or the negative portion of the sentiment from the circle that I die cut it from. I needed to add a little bit of stability behind this because the letters are die cut quite close to the edges and I want to pop it up, and I just cut some white cardstock and adhered it directly on the front of that, and that just gave it a little bit more support. And I added quite a bit of foam tape behind the back of this to pop it up in the center of my wreath circle on my card front. And to keep in with the gold look, I have decided to add some golden sequins spread around the card design along with the splatters. I really like how all these gold elements, including the hot foil on the felt leaves, all bring the design together, and nothing like a bit of dimension to make me happy as well. Thanks so much for joining me here. I'll have all the supplies linked below, and I'll also have the link to the blog post that will show you lots more pics and information about this card. I look forward to seeing you there. Bye.